Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hi folks, let's see if I'm live. One viewer, that's me. So we're looking at a live telescope view from of Mars, actually, through my telescope. And so that's what I'm capturing tonight. And at the same time we have... So here's the NASA feed. There's not a NASA feed. I need to fix that. Where was it? Oh, fuck. Alright, let's find the NASA feed again, because I think in about 45 minutes we will have the lunar insertion burn. 36 minutes from now. Let's see. This is the right view you should be getting from me. And at the same time, I'm capturing Mars. This is a live view of Mars through my Edge HD 8-inch telescope. And I have to take care because I'm trying to make a time-lapse video. Mars is currently in the eastern sky at night if you want to see it for yourself. And let me also show you Stellarium. Can I show it like this? So yeah, this is what Mars should look like. But this is my actual view with a camera through my telescope. Hey Vic, you're here. So yeah, you're welcome to join me. And let's see if I can get that NASA feedback. Yeah, so 35 minutes until the Artemis distant lunar orbit insertion. So I'm waiting for that. When is the Milky Way visible? Well, the Milky Way is visible almost the entire year, but the best views you will be getting if you're in the northern hemisphere like me. I'm in the Netherlands. Summer is the best time to capture the Milky Way because you have the galaxy center in the southern sky. So that would be my advice. But then during winter, it's also nice to capture the Milky Way. So we are basically in the Milky Way. So yeah, Ocean Christopher, hello there. So yeah, this is a bit strange because I'm capturing a live telescope view of Mars with my telescope, and at the same time we will have the Artemis distant lunar insertion burn. I don't know if you guys already saw the first lunar flyby. So for those who are not sure what's going to happen, this is like a 3D picture. So the red line indicates the Orion spacecraft, the Artemis 1 mission that has been launched already about 2 weeks ago from the United States, from Florida. And here you can see in red the orbit that the Orion spacecraft is making right now. And in white you see the moon. So this is actually the first lunar flyby. It happened about 5 days ago. And now we're going to have a second lunar insertion burn. That's this one. This will happen 45 minutes from now. And then after that the Orion spacecraft will return to Earth in about 5 days. So we should be able to see that in about... Oh, let me put that a bit below my webcam so you can see me. That should be happening in about 33 minutes. So I'll definitely take that into account. Let's see if we can watch that together if you want to watch that with me. And at the same time I have to also take care to keep Mars in the field of view. So that's pretty demanding. So right now I see that I'm already a little bit drifting. So let's see, 26 seconds left. Finally, it's a clear night. Yes, Vic, it's a clear night. So that's good for us. But I have a lot of issues with my lens. My telescope lens is fogging up right now. So that is an issue. So 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I will make some readjustments to my view. I don't think I will succeed in making a good time lapse of Mars, because I have issues with my my telescope, with my telescope lens. I should definitely buy that dew heater. Right. Okay, let's continue this. Okay, here we go again. It's a bit low, but... So once again, we're waiting for this. Also 32 minutes to go until NASA will start its Artemis 1 broadcast. Hopefully we will see some live images of the moon and possibly also Earth. So yeah, I'm waiting for that. Should I find somewhere where there's no light pollution? Rola, if you want to look at Mars, you can just watch it from anywhere. Mars is super bright in the night sky at the moment. Just watch, look towards the east, the eastern sky, southeastern sky. You will see a bright orange looking star in the night sky. You will be able to see it. It's Mars. Vic is shooting the Horsehead Nebula. That's nice. So, is your lens fogging up, or do you have some dew heaters, Vic? So, I'm curious about this Artemis 1 insertion burn. I'm kind of surprised that that the launch went without a glitch, actually. Everything's going well with that mission. So once again, this is what already happened. So Artemis launched, the red dot is the Orion spacecraft. It did the first lunar flyby. And now we're going to hopefully watch a second lunar insertion burn, they call it, where they will use the moon as a gravity assist to return to Earth. So hopefully that will happen in 30 minutes now. In 30 minutes now. And yeah, let's look at Mars. See, we have it, Mars. Rola is getting the telescope ready to see Mars. That's great. Rola, now is one of the best times to image Mars because we are close to opposition. So to this week and next week, the beginning of December will be the best, the absolute best time to image Mars in 2 years, because it will be closest to Earth. Oh, my hair! I should have done something with it, but nah, I didn't. Awesome. Thanks, Luftbublern. Sounds German. I think I've seen you on the chat before, Luftbublern. So yeah. Once again, let's check that NASA web feed here. 29 minutes to go. For me, it's then 10:30 p.m. So yeah, I also need to put my children to bed, so that will be challenging. But anyway, oh, look at Mars. I do see some surface details, but it is hard to capture Mars. But I do see like this blackish part below I would say below the equator of Mars. And I do see some surface details a little bit above the horizon, but I think my lens is already fogging up again. Oh, let's see. I'm taking 2-minute exposures. I'm taking 2-minute videos of Mars at the moment. And yeah, of course, Mars turns around its own axis once every 24 hours. So more or less the same as Earth. So in order to get a little bit of spin of Mars, to get a time-lapse video of Mars, you need really a couple of hours to track Mars and to take pictures of Mars to actually see that that change in rotation. So yeah, I had some good success with Jupiter time-lapse lately. So I could show you that. So this is my Jupiter time-lapse. So this is what I'm aiming for with this endeavor that you're seeing here on my screen. So a couple of days ago, I was able to, actually a week ago, I was able to make this time-lapse video of like moon Io in front of Jupiter and Jupiter's red spot. I was super excited to see the results. I never had such clear skies. And now I'm trying to do the same with Mars actually, while looking also at Artemis 1. 27 minutes to go, it says on the live feed. So hopefully we will see that orbit insertion or lunar injection. How is it called? Lunar injection burn. If that injection burn goes wrong, then they will end up in space, right? I think the Orion spacecraft won't be able to return to Earth then. 70 people. Hi, Rola. I'm so excited for the 8 December when Mars is in opposition. Yeah, Rola, I have to say 8 December is also a full moon. So take that into account. And actually, if you want to capture Mars when it's closest to Earth, that's already on the 1st of December. So just so you know, but the 8th of December will also be awesome because we have a full moon and Mars in the night sky. Anyway, I'm doing two things at once. That's never a good idea when you're doing a live stream. I'm going to check outside for my lens. Let's check it. Maybe there is some hope. There is some hope, I think, because my lens didn't fog up again. So I have like a hair blower next to my telescope to see if my lens fogs up, and then I use it to clean it. Anyway, so yeah, for those of you watching this and thinking, where's the NASA mission? This is a live view of Mars, and this is, where is NASA? Here. 25 minutes to go. And yeah, this is live. This is really the live feed of NASA. So you're welcome to watch it with me. And I will keep an eye on the chat, of course. Can you help me make a time lapse of Mars from last night? Rola, yeah, probably. Yeah, not on this live feed, live stream, but send me a note, send me an email or something. So I am on Instagram, Astroforum, as Astroforum. I'm on Instagram. This Wido's Astroforum here on YouTube, so you can leave me a message or yeah, send me an email. I will check it out. AstroExo says Mars. Yes, this is Mars. Pretty excited. And of course also the Artemis 1 distant lunar orbit. I can't believe they actually launched. It took them, I think, 2 or 3 years to get ready, right? Ah! Oh, they're doing something stupid. It took them about, I think they were still using the what is still called the space shuttle rockets, right? So it was some old technology they used to get that Orion spacecraft up in space. I really like to get the celestial next star, but it costs so much. AstroExo. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, astrophotography is a pain in the ass when it comes to money spent. Yeah, I cannot make it any prettier than it is. All right, I'm going to. Should I reposition Mars? Yeah, I will do. Sorry guys, I will do like multiple things at once. I hope you will forgive me. And if not, then no, not. Oh yeah, go. Okay, I'm going to reposition it a little bit towards the left, like this, because I noticed that I drift a little bit with my telescope. Now you see all that wobbling. That is because there is a lot of atmospheric turbulence at the moment, or actually almost always in the Netherlands where I am. Okay, now I should restart that guiding. Oh, stop. Restart. What am I doing? Alt select star, guide that thing. Why is it always giving me that message? All right, is it capturing again? 1 second, and yeah, here goes another video. Okay. Yeah, how can I multitask? So this is a live view of Mars, and we have the NASA feed. 22 minutes for, hopefully we will see a good, successful, what is it called? Lunar orbit insertion. Wow, that's nice. So let's see in the chat, there are more messages. Hoe gaat het, Wido? Ik ben in België voor het weekend. So that's Dutch. Astro Republic is in Belgium for the weekend. So that's nice. I don't know where you normally are. Are you normally in another country? And Vic is, I also shot the Ring Nebula M81 and the Pleiades. Vic, that's great. Those are nice targets to capture. See autocorrect on my phone. Okay. I love watching those live streams and seeing stuff like this. AstroExo, thank you. So yeah, we still have 20 minutes to go, so we can still keep an eye out for Mars. Let's see, because now I moved it a little bit off center, and yeah, as I thought I saw it correctly, it drifts a little bit towards the upper right. So hopefully I can get a couple of videos in without making too many adjustments. Legacy searches, do you think we could resolve the spacecraft with the Edge HD? Nope, but that would be great. Huh? That would be great if we could actually see the Orion spacecraft on the moon. That would be fantastic, but I think I already showed you. Do I still have it? Let's see. Do I have my... I had some pictures that I could share with you. Do I still have them here somewhere in OBS? Maps, screen. I don't have it. I did have some. Let me try to share it with you. Mediasaurus moon pictures. I will show you a couple of moon pictures that I did take with my Edge HD telescope. 3D. Is it still here somewhere? Maybe. Planets. Nah. Create new. Okay. Where is that? Oh no, I should cancel. Sorry guys. So how are you? Let's check the NASA feed. 19 minutes. 19. Hello. London in the house. Rola. There will be a lunar occultation. Yes, that's true. Rola. Are you in the US? So in Europe, I'm in the Netherlands, and that occultation of Mars will also use during will happen during opposition. But for me, it will happen early in the morning. I'm still trying to find out video capture device. No. Image slideshow. I think that would be best. Image slideshow. Moon slides. Moon slides. Always play. Okay, whatever. But can I browse? Image files. Add directory. Where did I put them? I think astrophotography moon photo, something like this. So here they are. A little bit too big. Oh, this is not the one I wanted to. Moon slides. Whoa. Sorry guys, this is terrible. Let me... So these are some pictures of the moon I could also show you. So maybe... You're on YouTube, right? So maybe I should like enlarge it. I know that screen is not always very big if you're on the phone. So this is actually... These are a lunar picture I was able to take with the same telescope I'm aiming at Mars with. It looks a little bit strange, right? With but anyway, I hope you can see it. Can you see it? I think so. So this is a full moon. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome telescope. But as you can see, I'm waiting for a picture that shows. Oh, this is the Jupiter time lapse again. Sorry about that. So let me just show you one particular picture. So here we see. Do you see these craters on the moon? They are about 50 to 100 kilometers. So what is that? 40 to 70 or 80 miles in size already. So the Orion spacecraft is only about, what is it? Maybe a couple of meters, 10 meters maybe in diameter. So definitely it's for me not even possible to capture that Orion spacecraft. So this is Copernicus crater, one of my favorites. It's 100 kilometers wide in the middle here. So you can see what I'm able to capture where at a distance of the moon. So definitely no flag, no rovers on the surface, no Orion spacecraft I can capture. So here's Mars. So Mars is also tricky because it's about 80 million kilometers from the Earth right now. And this is a live view through my telescope, but Mars is 80 million kilometers away. And it is of course about half the size of Earth. So it's quite tricky to get this this planet in my field of view. Okay, 60 minutes for the NASA feed. There will be a lunar occultation. That will be amazing to see. Yes. So once again, I'm trying to do two things at once. So I'm going to watch the Artemis 1 distant lunar orbit insertion. And yeah, this is the path that Orion has been taking. So as you can see, we did the red path represents the Orion spacecraft. The gray path and the gray dot represents the moon, and the blue dot in the middle represents Earth. So we had a launch and the first lunar flyby. I also broadcasted that live. Was very exciting to watch. We saw the Earth in the background of the moon. That was pretty cool. And now we will have this lunar insertion burn. But will we see Earth? That's what I'm hoping to see. Maybe some surface details of the moon here, or maybe they can capture Earth. That would be awesome, right? And from this second lunar insertion burn, if everything goes according to plan, probably it will, then it takes, of course, a couple of minutes to drop back to Earth. And that will also be an exciting time, because I think it's one of the fastest going spacecraft ever that will hit the Earth's surface and will attempt to land on Earth. So that's pretty cool. So here we have Mars again, still in the field of view. That gives me some courage that I may be successful in creating a little time lapse. I'm in North America, Canada, Alberta, Calgary. So yeah, you're basically in the same latitude position role as I am. But when you're in Canada, of course, you will be able to see the occultation of Mars behind the moon. I think it's I'm 6 hours, 7 hours ahead. So it will be around midnight for you. Enrique in the house, nice. How are you, Enrique? ¿Cómo estás? So is this still going, this capturing? I think so. 45 seconds until the 185 remaining. So I actually captured now 15 videos of Mars. I know you were going to do live now, Vic. This was a kind of a last minute thing for me to set up my my equipment, because I first thought that a cloud band would hit the Netherlands. And then it was only at 7 or 8, when it was dark already, that I noticed the skies were pretty clear. So I set up in the dark. Took me about 40 minutes to get everything up and running, but here I am. Yeah, so doing two things at once, it's maybe tricky. Let's hope for the best. Cool to see that you want to stay on the channel. So 13 minutes to go. Canada is North America. Yes, that's true. What did I say then? North America, that's definitely what I know. So 30 minutes left. So what do you think? They will probably succeed, right? But if I'm looking at that orbit, I think So this is the lunar flyby day. They also said at this point, right, it's 2 days ago, something like that, represented like the farthest a human-rated spacecraft ever went from by NASA. But I mean, come on, they have built spacecraft that visited Jupiter, Saturn, all the distant planets in our solar system. And Voyager 1 is even outside of our solar system, so I'm not sure why they're making such a big fuss out of it. Also, this is an unmanned spacecraft at the moment. They do have a kind of, they call the doll, they call him or her a Moonikin. So there's a doll inside the Orion spacecraft, and they are monitoring that astronaut, that fake astronaut. So that is interesting to see. Maybe they will mention it again. And Artemis about 12 minutes from now. So let me just check up again on my Orion. If I can find my, oh yeah, it's here. See, it's drifting a little bit towards the upper left, the upper right. So, okay, so in about 2 minutes I will check up again on that alignment. So, but anyway, this is Mars, about 80 million kilometers from Earth. This is about the best view you can get in about 2 years. So if you're interested in imaging Mars like I am, or just watching Mars in the night sky, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Let's see, this is Mars, yes, Cab J6 squad. You're absolutely right. This is Mars. This is a live view of Mars from my actually my balcony. So I am at the edge of a big city in the Netherlands, in the northwest of the Netherlands, and this is the view I'm able to get of Mars. This is about the best view I can get. It's still pretty fuzzy, as you can see, and you can see a lot of atmospheric turbulence. So yeah, that's what I always have to deal with, but it's pretty cool to see some surface details of Mars. This is what I should see, by the way. Let me center that for you. Is that centered? Not really. So this is actually the surface I should be able to see of Mars, and this is what I'm actually seeing. You do see some like differences in brightness. So there's basically this upper shell. It's like a cracked egg, if I more or less. Anyway, NASA, how are you doing? 10 minutes to go. Pretty exciting. I'm going to check up on my my telescope outside. Let's see if the fog is returning, because I see that the image becomes a little bit blurred. And also, I have to check the positioning. Now 45 seconds to go. Where is the North Pole on Mars? I would say in the north. I think the tilt of Mars, if I understood correctly, is about the same as Earth. So it's like it's the tilt of 20-25 degrees, maybe something like that. And it has about the same orbit. So it orbits around its own axis every 24 hours, a little bit more or less. There was a little difference, but it's about the same. And that's also the main goal, right? Here we go. It's getting fuzzy, you see? Okay, let me put up the NASA feed. I will check up on my telescope. Oh. Ay, 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 ay. My telescope definitely fogged up there. Let me check here. I think I'm still okay. Okay. So yeah, that is tricky. I should get those dew heaters. So anyway. Mars. I doubt Kevin Burns. Your telescope will pick up Artemis. No, Kevin. Unfortunately, that's clouds. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too small for a backyard telescope to pick up Mars or to pick up the Orion spacecraft. I can pick up Mars. You're looking at it. So some clouds rolling in. Anyway. Six minutes to go until the NASA feed. So once again, this is the second lunar insertion burn they're going to show, I think. So we got the first one about a couple of days ago. And the second one is this one. Will happen tonight in about 6 minutes, hopefully. They will do a second lunar insertion burn where they will use the gravity of the moon to throw Orion on a path back to Earth. So the Earth being the blue dot in the middle here, and of course the moon, you can see it. It's the gray dot and the gray line that orbits the Earth, and the red lines represent the path taken by the Orion spacecraft. And of course this is a 3D kind of it's a 2D image, right? But you can see the moon moving, so you can also see the length of the mission. I just realized, because the moon, of course, orbits the Earth about every 30 days. So the total mission duration is a little bit under a month. So I think about 3 weeks if I interpreted this 3D picture correctly. So yeah, it's almost a month. It's 3 weeks, I think. Anyway, 5 minutes. Final look at Mars before we are going to check out the Orion spacecraft. Here's Mars. Oh wait, I have to do some repositioning, guys. Oh, well, let's do it anyway. Stop, rotate, this, go back the other way. No, it's not listening to me. Go back to where you came from, Mars. Here, somewhere here. And let's start the guiding again. Auto, select star. Here we go. All right. Check. Yeah. 4 minutes. So you took some image of Mars with your 17.5 Dobsonian last week. Yeah. Hey, Christopher, are you going to make me jealous here? They looked absolutely gorgeous. I'm happy for you, Christopher. Great. So Christopher has a 17-inch Dobsonian, right? Yeah, 17.5-inch aperture Dobsonian on his driveway, and his neighbors aren't happy. But he will get, I think, twice the magnification of Mars and twice the details, or maybe even more. I have an 8-inch telescope, so this is an 8-inch view of Mars. I cannot get it any better than this. But I'm happy with it. I'm trying to create a time lapse. 3 minutes. Did you know that the sun is 4.6 billion years old? Yes, and it will remain. It will be alive for about 5 billion years until it will finally. It will not go supernova. I heard. It It will not go so. It will become a red giant or something like that, and it will probably swallow Earth in that process. So who do we have? Finally, clear night, so I can get some more subs on Orion. Ligas, you're also watching Orion. Nice. I hope you will have a good picture. So 2 minutes for the live stream. I'm really curious. So I definitely have some trouble with my telescope. It's fogging up. There's a lot of humidity in the air tonight in the Netherlands. So it also rained during the day. So I don't know if this was the best idea. But I'm happy to show you this live image of Mars, of course. Oh, can we also, let's see, because NASA live feed, Force SDR, I don't know what that is. But this is a window capture. I should also be able to get the sound. How do I do that actually? I should have checked it before. Force SDR, what's that actually? Anyway, 1 minute. Audio mixer. Pooh. Is there some way to get audio? Audio input capture. Nah. Audio output capture. I would not know. I would know. Default. I could try this. Audio output capture is on. All right, let's see if that works. Anyway. So here's that NASA feed. It should go live any second now. Could you turn your telescope on Jupiter? No, I can't. I did that already. So this is the time lapse I created of Jupiter. If you're interested, this is what I created by following Jupiter for about 2.5 hours. I was pretty happy with it. Could of course enlarge it. So here's Jupiter for you. That was about 1 week ago. You see Moon Io, one of the Galilean moons, passing in front of Jupiter, and I also was able to capture the red spot. But it took me 4 hours to capture this time-lapse video. So right now I am definitely focused on Mars. Here they go. Here they go. Can you hear it? I think so.
Of landing a man on the moon and returning him to safety.
Oh, it sounds impressive. Oh wait, I have to do something. Ooh, looks impressive. I need a headset. I need to check my headset.
Good afternoon and welcome to NASA's Johnson Space Center. I'm Chelsea Bayarte here live in Mission Control Houston. We're on flight day 10 of NASA's Artemis 1 mission, and today the Orion spacecraft will conduct a translational burn to insert the spacecraft into a distant retrograde orbit, or DRO. This is a relatively quick burn expected to fire for 1 minute 28 seconds beginning at 3:52 and 28 seconds p.m. Central Time, 4:52 p.m. and 28 seconds Eastern. Distant retrograde orbit is highly elliptical, oval-shaped orbit around the moon. This orbit is unique to Artemis 1 and will not be used for Artemis 2, Artemis 3, and beyond. It's highly stable, so little fuel is required to stay there as we use this Artemis 1 mission to put Orion's systems to the test. And here to talk about future is now Deb Ludvin. She'll be joining us as a guest shortly on in our coverage later today. We'll also be joined by NASA's Dan Hewitt back at the Moon Board to explain a little bit more about what distant retrograde orbit is.
So guys, can you actually hear the stream?
We're here live in Mission Control's White Flight Control Room with NASA Flight Director Rick LeBrode at the helm, overseeing a team of flight controllers who are getting ready for the distant retrograde orbit insertion burn. This is the same building as the International Space Station's flight control room, but it's a separate room dedicated to overseeing Artemis missions.
Do you like my headset? Oh, it's like I'm in mission control.
This is a live view that you're getting on your screen now.
A live view, yes.
So let's talk a little bit more about how we got to this.
They have the Earth in the field of view.
Space Launch System rocket on November 16th, and by its third day, it was halfway to the moon. On November 21st, Orion performed an outbound powered flyby burn, the first of two maneuvers required to enter DRO, the second being today's orbital insertion burn. At the time of outbound powered flyby, Orion was just...
Guys, this is, by the way, this is just an animation, right? This is not a live image of the Orion spacecraft. They have this space tracker. You can also check it on the website. They have this Artemis 1 website. You can go to it and see a live, like a live positioning of the Orion spacecraft in space and in relationship to the moon and the Earth. But this is definitely not a live view, a camera view on the spacecraft itself.
It's going to continue to get farther, and shortly after today's distant retrograde orbit insertion burn, Orion will reach its maximum distance from the moon at 57,287.76 statute miles.
Statute miles. This is good for my American English. So you can see here, distance to the moon, 75,000 miles. Oh, they still have some ways to go, man. And how fast is it going? 2,000 miles per hour. So that will take 30 hours.
Tomorrow, November 26th, Orion will pass the distance record for...
Actually, I think Orion spacecraft will speed up because the gravity of the moon will pull the Orion spacecraft in.
Earth. Orion is expected to break that record at 7:40 a.m. Central, 8:40 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. If you want to hear a little bit more about that, head over to @NASA's Twitter feed or the Artemis blog, where you can listen to an in-depth audio-only conversation about the milestone with guests like Apollo Flight Director Jerry Griffin, Artemis's...
I don't really understand this because they send spacecraft to Jupiter, to Mars, to Saturn, but yeah, okay. I mean, this is a human-rated spacecraft, I guess, that's going further out than the Apollo missions. But it's about bloody time they did. Anyway, let's go back to the audio.
Its maximum distance from the Earth, reaching approximately 272,514.9 miles away from the Earth on November 28th. We won't be live on air for that milestone, but later that day on Monday, we'll be live on NASA TV for a briefing to discuss the midway point of the Artemis mission. And finally, on November 30th, we'll be at the tail end of distant retrograde orbit. We're inserting into that orbit today, and Orion will leave DRO on Wednesday, November 30th to prepare for a splashdown back on Earth.
Splashdown back on Earth. Okay. That's cool.
So that was a lot of numbers and dates that I just gave you. We're talking about Orion's distance from the Earth, but also Orion.
Well, the distance is somewhere between the moon and the Earth, right? Now, it's actually a little bit outside the moon's orbit. That's what they were telling us. So I told you, I showed this many times now, but the red line here, the Orion spacecraft, it went to the moon, and then this is what they're talking about. It's farthest away from the moon here somewhere, and that is actually a record. Or is this a record then? I don't know. I think that one. And then it will return to Earth. But still no, I was hoping for some live views, of course. I was hoping to get a live camera view of Orion and perhaps the Earth and the moon in the background. So let's hope for the best.
We're in a 25.5-day Artemis mission to the moon, and we're in flight day 10. So far in the mission, Artemis performed an outbound, powered flyby of the moon and reached its closest approach to the moon, and then it moved further away from the surface of the moon and exited the lunar sphere of influence. Orion has conducted a number of burns to get ready for distant retrograde orbit insertion, and at 3:52 p.m. the burn is expected to begin just less than 15 minutes from now.
Ah, less than 15 minutes. Are we going to see something? Are we going to see a live view? A live camera view of the moon, a live camera view of Earth, the spacecraft itself? I was hoping. But retrograde orbit insertion, I think I completely missed the idea of the retrograde insertion burn. Naive as I am, I thought that this would be. Let's put out that capture.
So today, the milestone for the Orion spacecraft that we're talking about today is the burn to get into a distant retrograde orbit, the distant retrograde orbit insertion burn. So to talk a little bit more about this orbit, let's go to Dan Hewitt at the Moon Board, who can explain a little bit more about what it's all about.
Okay, I'm thinking this won't be the lunar flyby.
The outbound powered flyby has been complete. We are on our way now to distant retrograde orbit, or DRO. Now we're going to do a maneuver to put ourselves into this orbit and to maintain it. We're going to be about 30,000 miles away from the lunar surface as
this
we
is all
orbit
CGI.
around. That's part of why we're calling it distant. And we call it retrograde because the moon orbiting the Earth in this direction, and then we're entering into our orbit in this direction, opposites, retrograde. Now we're choosing this orbit because it's extremely stable. It doesn't cost a lot of fuel to maintain your position there, and that gives all of our engineers, our flight controllers, the chance to really learn about Orion systems in deep space, learn about flying a spacecraft farther than we've ever sent one intended for humans. We're going beyond anywhere we ever went for Apollo. And so we're going to be in that orbit, test out all of those systems. Eventually we'll do a maneuver to break out of that, do another flyby and come home. But for now, looking forward to getting into DRO and really getting our chance to learn about Orion on this Artemis 1 flight.
But where is it? I would love to have his interactive screen, by the way. That would be cool.
So that was a little primer on what this orbit is and why we want to use this mission to meet our test objectives of the Orion spacecraft. But DRO will not be used in future Artemis missions.
There's the live view.
By Deb Ludbin with NASA's
We
Gateway
see the
program.
Earth in the background. Oh,
hey,
it's
Deb,
gone.
thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Chelsea.
So, Deb, Gateway's not going to be in a distant retrograde orbit, is it? What will the lunar outpost be in?
It will not be in a distant retrograde orbit. The Gateway will actually be in a near.
The Gateway is something they haven't even started to build yet. That's their new space station that will go between the Earth and the Moon. 2028 maybe.
So near rectilinear halo orbit is much more long and skinny, like a long oval. So it actually looks, if you're looking at the moon, more like a necklace hanging down from the moon. It is sort of a combination between two types of orbits that have a lot of things going for it. So the low lunar
I need to
orbit
check my
is
telescope.
more similar to what Apollo did, and that's an orbit that goes sort of around the center of the moon, and it's very close, and it provides great access to the moon. And then the DRO, the distant retrograde orbit, is a much broader, and it usually takes about 2 weeks to get around in an orbit, and it's very circular, and it has great stability, which means you don't need a lot of fuel to stay in orbit, but it also is not very close to the moon. So what we have for the Gateway is we have a near rectilinear halo orbit, NRHO, and that orbit has the benefits of both. So it is both access close to the moon for some of its orbit, where we get to about 90 miles away from the lunar surface, but it also has the stability of a distant retrograde orbit, so that its overall orbit takes about a week, 6.5 days or so, and that orbit offers both the stability of a distant retrograde orbit as well as the access to the lunar surface that a low lunar orbit would have.
Wow, that's really cool. And you're seeing the Gateway that we're talking about now on your screen. And I also see Orion in this graphic. So we heard that Gateway is going to be in this NRHO orbit. Does that mean Orion's going to have to be too?
Sure will. So Orion will do lots of things for Gateway. Orion is the crewed system that will bring crew out to the Gateway so that we can live and work and test out those systems. But at the same time, Orion...
Guys, I don't understand this, because the Apollo spacecraft, it went directly to the moon, right? So why do we need an extra space station? It's kind of cool to have it, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure why they are not just go from the Earth to the moon and just land on the South Pole. But anyway.
Its relationship to Gateway, and what's the goal of Gateway, and how does Orion help?
Absolutely. So like I said, Orion is the only way right now that we have to get crew to the Gateway. So that is our number one reason for making sure that we have the staging point of the Gateway small space station in lunar orbit. We can use that as a staging point for Orion to come out and for the human landing system to come out, and everything can meet together there. We can do system checkouts on all of the systems that we will need to go down to the lunar surface, and the Orion crew, which is the Artemis crew at that point, can learn what it's like to live and work farther away from Earth, and learn what it's like to be longer in space, and what happens to people when we're farther away from Earth, when we're
like on the space station.
And so we're using this opportunity with the Gateway to test out all of those systems, both technical and human systems, to make sure that we can work together as an integrated system, which will absolutely be necessary for Mars.
That's right. So we're talking about going to the moon, going to Mars, the Gateway overall.
The Mars.
Why is
The
Gateway an
Martian.
important part of the Artemis missions?
Gateway is imperative in figuring out how we do a sustainable lunar mission. The Gateway is crew tended. It is not crew habitation all year round. We have crew there for about a month at a time. And for our longer missions, the farther we get away from Earth, the more independent these systems have to be. So we utilize the time on Gateway in learning more about what our systems will do, what our people will do, and it's also a great staging point for future missions. We could actually launch a Mars mission.
But wait, the moon is about 4 or 5 days away, so it's not so far, right? It takes a little bit more time to get to the gateway than the International Space Station, but still, I don't really get the gateway, but it's maybe just me.
Learn about space weather, learn about radiation, learn about what systems are going to do when they're tended and when they're not tended for significant periods of time. So the gateway is an imperative position for us enabling sustainable lunar orbit as well as moving forward to Mars.
And that's what it's all about, a sustainable presence on the moon and the science that we can achieve from it. Deb, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thanks.
Thank you. Oh. Well, that was the gateway. I really am curious if they are actually going to build it or not. Maybe they just will use Starship to get to the moon in 2024, 2025. I'm really curious about what's going to happen to that plan. So I still have Mars. Is there something wrong with the audio? I don't think so. Distant retrograde orbit expected 4:52. I think that's about 8 minutes from now, okay?
We're now coming up on about 6 minutes left until the burn.
Are we going to see a live image? This shows the moon flyby, which was a few days ago. No. This is a live the NASA feed.
Began today, Flight Director Rick LeBrode conducted a go, no-go poll for the burn, consulting with flight controllers here in the White Flight Control Room, and they all concurred that they are go to proceed with this burn.
Okay. Oh, I repositioned Mars badly in my field of view, guys. I need to adjust this. So they're not showing a live feed of the spacecraft itself. I was hoping for some live views of the moon, maybe the Earth in the background. I saw it like 2 seconds. It was pretty cool to see the Earth very in the distant background. I think they showed a live feed of that Orion spacecraft about 5 seconds. So I'm hoping they will show a little bit more. It's going to be a hub, a place where the astronauts can stay longer. So they're going to be protected from the radiation. Yeah, that's maybe a good idea.
This distant retrograde insertion
as long as there's no base on the moon.
3:52 p.m. Central Time, 4:52 p.m. Eastern. It's going to fire for 1 minute and 28 seconds.
I need to fire my my telescope. Wait.
Four minutes now until the expected start time of the burn.
The burn. Oh, sorry, I'm showing you my... Here we go. So are they excited? They're pretty serious. Bring up the link. What kind of link? Kairos, does the gateway have a gatekeeper? Yeah, probably. I think there will be permanently inhabited by all astronauts, just like the International Space Station is. So that will be, yeah, it will be kind of a transfer hub from the Earth to the moon.
Less than 3 minutes away from the burn.
But I think that the Artemis 3 landing, the Artemis 3 mission is to land on the moon, and that is still without a lunar gateway. So that's, I think, a long-term plan they have to put a space station into orbit between the Earth and the moon. But we are getting this image. This is the live tracker. There's a live website, Artemis 1. If you go to that website, they have a specific website for this mission. If you go there, you can check the tracker they have on that website, and you can see these figures. So it will show you, like you see here, the velocity, the distance from Earth and the moon.
We intermittently have live views
of
the Orion spacecraft from its onboard cameras when they're available to us. It's still to be determined whether we'll get live views during this burn or not.
Ah, okay. Let's hope for the best then. It's still to be determined. So let me determine that I will give you a live view of Mars instead then. Where is Mars? Here it is. So let's hope we also get some live feed. No, still the tracker showing. Please. Yeah. There we go. Oh, that's the Earth, I think. It's overexposed. Ah, that's nice. I think that's the Earth in the background. I'm not sure. It could also be the moon.
1 minute left to go until the burn. It looks like we do have our live views
Yeah,
back.
cool. Hopefully they can... they should adjust the exposure time of the camera. The Earth is overexposed. But it could also be because of the solar panels. I do like these views. To see the Earth where we are with 8 million people just in the background. Like a small blue dot. But in this case a white dot.
From the expected start of the burn.
Let's hope they can tune down the exposure. Anyway. Are we also able to see the burn then? Let's see what happens. It's getting exciting. Did we go? Yeah, definitely. The USA did go to the moon, Black Wolfgang. It's a bit unfortunate that a lot of people have doubts about that. But okay, it happened 50 years ago, so yeah. You saw the burn, and then the video feed was cancelled. You saw the start of the burn. Ah, that's unfortunate. Let's hope they can get it back. So yeah. Here's Mars. With my backyard telescope. This is the main aim, right? To train humans in space, astronauts on the gateway, and hopefully also a base camp on the moon, right? They want to build a base camp on the south pole of the moon in one of the craters, I read. Hopefully that will all happen in the next decade. That would be super exciting to watch. They don't have a live view. They're showing the burn. Here we go. It's back. Ooh. It lags a bit. So of course we have a 1 second delay, I guess. Because the feed will travel at about 300,000 kilometers per second. They're trying to keep the Earth in the field of view. That's nice. It's a bit overexposed. But who am I to complain? Hopefully we will get some more views. Come on. Please. Thanks for doing the stream, and it's complex. Yeah, of course it's complex. That's I agree with you, Black Wolfgang. To get a spacecraft up into space beyond the Earth's atmosphere and then orbit it and even go outside of that orbit, it's pretty amazing. It's
outs of the burn while the burn itself was going on. Flight controllers are just confirming that everything went well.
Everything went well. All right. I do have this big humming. Do you also have that? Is it from the feed? I think so. Mars is looking okay. So guys, I'm just staying with the NASA video. Let's hope they will have some more live pictures, videos from the Orion spacecraft itself. We briefly saw it. James, you are here. Welcome. So we're just looking at the Orion burn. The lunar injection burn. So apparently, yeah, we did see the red dotted line, or the red line is the Orion spacecraft. The white line with the gray dot is the moon. and the blue dot in the center is the Earth. So this is actually what is happening in this mission. So we did have takeoff from the Earth by the Orion spacecraft with the SLS launch system. We did a first lunar flyby. Right now they're doing this lunar injection burn. I thought it would be closer to the moon, but they are doing it further away from the moon, I think. And then they will use the moon's gravity again to as an assist to get back to Earth. So that will be very exciting to see. And also, I think one of the more exciting things in this mission is also to look at if the Orion spacecraft will make it through the Earth's atmosphere, because it will be going super fast. One of the fastest spacecraft ever, because when you're coming from the moon, it's not the same as coming from the International Space Station. You will go much faster. So I hope they have built a good heat shield on that spacecraft. No live views. We see the tracker. So let's go back to Mars.
Our coverage today is all about distant retrograde orbit insertion burn, which just commenced minutes ago and concluded about just a little over a minute afterwards.
Okay, so they already did it, apparently. Mars is still going strong. I'm trying to create a time lapse of Mars. For those of you who joined later. Stephen from Nigeria, welcome. So I'm doing two things at once. We are looking at the NASA live feed. The Orion spacecraft just completed a lunar insertion burn. I was hoping for more live views, more live videos, but apparently they have some issues with the camera on the Orion spacecraft. We did see, I think, 10 or 15 seconds with the Earth as a little white dot in the background. Oh, here we have it again. The Earth is out of view. I think it's behind the solar panel.
We're back with live views of the spacecraft now.
Let's see if they can reposition the camera. Let's hope for the best. Mars still going strong. Okay, the sun is always shining in space. That's what we see, right? See that glare on the solar panels? That's the sun. That was also the radiation they're talking about. They're outside the Van Allen belts. So, oh, there. It's repositioning, right? I think. Or it's just he adjusted the exposure. Now let's hope we will see Earth. Pretty cool to watch live streams from space. I'm not able to do that. I can only show you this, a live stream from Earth, where I try to capture the objects in space. Well, they are wobbling a lot. Oh no, they're back to the tracker. Well,
Flight controllers here in the white flight control room looked at all the data from the burn and confirmed that it was a good burn.
okay.
The burn began as scheduled at 3:52 p.m. Central Time, burning for almost a minute and a half.
Nice. So I guess that's it. Telemetry driven blah blah blah. So we cannot see telemetry driven animation. That's good that they show that. So this is not a live feed from the Orion spacecraft itself. It's the tracker they also have on their website. So you can look where Orion is in its orbit. So yeah, distance to the moon still 57,000 miles. Earth 237,000. Okay. I think that's it. they're not completing the live stream. So maybe they were trying to get the view back. That would be great to have a little like 2 minutes video feed of the Earth or the Moon, one of the two. Oh, my printer is doing strange stuff. It's cleaning itself. So if you hear some strange noises, that's my printer, my inkjet. Oh yeah, Mars. I do see some surface details. It's super faint, but 80 million kilometers away. It's not easy to magnify that planet from my backyard, from my balcony. Oh, don't they show anything more? Please, NASA, give us a live view. Hello from Rochester, New York. Netty 2550. I'm Taher from Nigeria. Algeria. What is the name of this planet? This is the planet Mars, the red planet.
So it looks like we had a good burn. It began at 3:52 p.m. Central Time, 4:52 p.m. Eastern, burning for 1 minute and 28 seconds. This burn occurred. The start of the burn began about 10 minutes ago. Orion is now traveling at a velocity of 2,252 miles per hour, 57,000 miles above the surface of the moon. And you can follow all of this data in real time using the Arrow Artemis real-time online tracker yourself. We link to this in the blog. We're going to continue to have imagery and videos in high definition from this mission as well as we go on. This is a 25.5-day mission to the moon and back, and we're on flight day 10, having just completed the distant retrograde insertion burn. Many important milestones are expected. We'll be live on air to discuss the midpoint of the mission and for distant retrograde departure as well when the Orion spacecraft departs this distant retrograde orbit that it just entered today.
All right. So that's it, I think.
Until then, the next milestone that we have coming up will actually focus on the International Space Station.
Ooh.
Live coverage of the SpaceX Commercial Resupply Services 26 mission. It's a cargo mission with the Dragon resupply spacecraft. Begins at 2 p.m. on Saturday, November 26th, with a launch scheduled for 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. That concludes our coverage for today. This is Mission Control Houston.
That's it. Okay, guys, we didn't see a lot of live videos. Oh, here. You want to see this? Nah. Okay. Okay, guys, that's it for the feed. I was hoping for a little bit more action, a little bit more video feeds from the spacecraft itself. But anyway, glad to hear that this injection burn went according to plan. So I do need to, we have Mars here in the field of view. For those of you who are just joining, I'm trying to create a time-lapse video of Mars, so you're welcome to stay with me. I do need to take care of a couple of things. First of all, I need to put my youngest daughter to bed. So I will be back in about 5 minutes. Wait, I should also reposition Mars. And I think my telescope is fogging up again. 30 seconds. Okay, let's do that first. So let's stop the guiding. Auto. So you're watching a live video feed. At least I can show you that from my balcony of Mars. And Mars is about 80 million kilometers from Earth. So that's about the closest it will get in about 2 years. So the upcoming 2 weeks are perfect to watch Mars in the night sky. 5. And I will wait until the capture is completed. All right, that's it. Let's move this baby a little bit back on the lower left because it's drifting a bit. Let's reinitiate the guiding. Auto select star. So yeah, I have of course astrophotography channel, as you probably expect from all these feeds, the feed you're getting. So you're welcome to join, especially if you're interested in taking images of the planets, of the moon and the night sky. I have a couple of videos on my channel about that. Alright, I'm going to check up on my daughter. I will be back in about 5 minutes, I think, 10 minutes maybe. So see you soon. Let's put the webcam on. So guys, yeah, I'm going to keep on tracking Mars in the night sky because I want to create a time-lapse video. We just watched the, it was a short live broadcast of NASA with their, like a lunar injection burn of the Orion spacecraft. I was expecting that spacecraft to be closer to the moon. I should have done my homework. But still, it's happy to know that the burn went all right. And of course, in a couple of days, they will, I think they will have this, they will have a live video broadcast of, I think, probably Orion spacecraft closing in on the moon, like here. So that's about 2 weeks into the mission, I think, if I understand this correctly. And we're now 10 days into the mission, so that will be in a couple of days. I think here, we are here now. They did the lunar insertion burn. And there will be a second lunar flyby, where the moon will be used as a gravity assist to return the spacecraft to Earth. But anyway, ich liebe dich. Oh, Basti, ich liebe. Who is Basti? Nettie, you got rain in New York. Oxygize once the Orion Nebula. No, guys, I'm going to stay with Mars for tonight, because I'm doing a time-lapse video. If you can't see it, I think, eh? But let me check up on the video. So I already took about, I think, 20 or 30 videos of Mars. I'm trying to create a time-lapse. So this is the time lapse I'm planning to. So this is no, this is not. So I made a time lapse before of Jupiter. That was pretty cool to do. So here, let me show it. So this is the time lapse I was able to create. I followed Jupiter for about what was it? I think 2.5 hours. Jupiter has a far faster orbit. It orbits around its own axis every 10 hours. So when you're able to capture Jupiter for 2.5 hours, it's already 25% of its orbit, as you can see. And I'm pretty happy at how this time-lapse turned out. Huh? You can see the moon Io flying in front of Jupiter. You see the shadow of the Galilean moon cast on the surface of Jupiter. And I was also able to capture the great red spot. So I was so happy with this time-lapse that I'm tracking Mars. It's our video 166 remaining. So I have about 34 videos now of Mars. And Mars rotation is harder to actually capture because it rotates around its own axis about once every 24 hours. So to be able to capture some rotation in the planet, you need to be tracking Mars for at least a couple of hours. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to track Mars for a couple of hours and then see if I can create a similar time-lapse video. Mars is of course much harder because Mars is the apparent magnet, like Mars is just a tiny planet in the night sky. It's half the size of Earth, and even though it is closer to Earth as compared to Jupiter, it's still smaller when you look at it through a telescope. So yeah, that's a bit what I'm doing for tonight. I'm sorry that I'm not moving the telescope around. Vic had to throw 1.5 hours of footage away. Yeah, those things happen. Beautiful time-lapse of Jupiter. Thank you, Tag. I was surprised actually, for I have an 8-inch telescope, so and 2000 millimeter focal length. The 8-inch HHD. I'm using it right now also. So yeah, definitely if you want to capture the planets, you need a big aperture telescope and a long focal length telescope. And I think maybe the 8-inch I'm using right now is maybe kind of the minimum aperture you want to have. And also you want to have at least 2000 millimeters of focal length. I actually introduced a Barlow lens to increase my focal length for tonight to about 5000. But yeah, you see that Mars, it is pretty big in the field of view, but you can magnify it, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that the resolution gets better. It doesn't mean that you will be able to get more surface details out of it, because I think that depends a lot on the aperture of your telescope, and of course also the seeing conditions in the night sky. How long to turn that into a time-lapse tag? Well, with Jupiter, I took about 67 videos, and it took me about 1 or 2 hours to edit all of those videos into pictures. I use AutoStacker. That's a freely available software tool many planetary imagers use. And you can then select the highest quality frames, stack those high quality frames to get a nice picture of a planet. And I did that about 67 times. So then I had 67 pictures. I then went to Registex. That's another free software tool to sharpen the planet a little bit, to sharpen the surface details of the planet. And then I put basically these pictures in a video with 0.05 seconds interval, so you have about 24 frames or 20 frames per second. in order to create a video. So I think I spent a day on it, maybe half a day or one full day. No, I have to help my wife. Yeah, so hi guys. My family needs help, so I will be staying with Mars to track Mars, so I'm not able to switch to another target tonight. So I want to thank you for watching the live stream. So if you like astrophotography or planetary imaging, or you have any kind of questions, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and reach out to me. I will be happy to assist you or to help you with any questions you may have about using a telescope and imaging the night sky. So yeah, thanks so much for trying to get the chat. 33 people still. Let's see if there are some final questions. Wido, is this the ISA? Yeah, this is the ISA 678, yes. Enrique, this is actually the follow-up of the 178 MC. And actually this is the... it has a pixel size of 2, so it's the pixel size is even smaller than the ASI 678. And it has this relatively big resolution. So I think it's like 3000 something by 2000 something in pixel in terms of pixels. So pretty interesting. If you want to check out what I already produced, just look at the final videos on my channel. So you will see what I was able to do with that camera. I think I have it for about a couple of months now, 2 months, 3 months. So guys, I'm ending the live stream. Thank you so much for watching. I hope for those of you who are imaging Mars or any other target in the night sky, I hope you will be successful. I hope you will end up with some nice data to process. And yeah, see you all later. Adios, amigos.